What's up, world? This is your girl P. So, how does death affect family? How does death affect family? How do marriages affect families? Well, let me give my insight on this. And as a disclaimer, I can only use myself as an example, and I'm not here to project, okay? Just telling how I see it from my vantage point. But how I see it is that a death in the family can either bring family together or it can break family apart. It could either pull the family together, and it could either push the family apart. And what usually happens is when you have a loss of a loved one, if you don't know that that loved one is going to pass away anytime soon or what have you, it comes out of the blue. So it comes as a shock. It's like a tower moment. And it's like you didn't prepare yourself for it. And who does? Like, no one, people prepare themselves for death as far as like life insurance and things like that. But when it comes to mental prepared, like I have to mentally prepare myself for it, because when you lose someone you really care about, it breaks your heart. You know what I'm saying? Because you know when that person passes away, you know you're not going to see them again. And so that could trigger people into trauma. And they won't realize that they're traumatized by the loss. The reason why I say this is because 22 years ago, I lost my father. And when I lost my father, I've lost other family members before that, and I never took death easy. And when I lost my father, I took it real hard because I was the first parent. You only get two parents, right? You only get one mother, you only get one father. So I only had one father. And of course, when I lost my father, it came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it, and I took it really hard. And, you know, when I say I took it hard, I took it hard. However, I didn't take my loss of my father out on people. I didn't take it out on anyone. It's like, if anything, I wanted to take it out on myself because I felt bad for living because he didn't have a life anymore. And I was too young at the time. I was 28 years old when I lost my father. So I took that as like, how can I sit here and eat and he can't even eat anymore? How can I sit here and be happy and he don't even have a life anymore? How can I do this? How can I do that? But, as time progressed and time moved on, I slowly started, to overcome it. But it took me a minute to overcome the loss of my father because, like I said, it came out of the blue. I didn't think that he was going to pass away like that, and plus I saw how he suffered. And so watching him suffer like that because he was this big, strong guy, and seeing how it broke him down the way that it did, it hurt me watching it. You know what I'm saying? It just really hurted me, And um but then fast forward to me losing my mother 2 years ago. I didn't think that when I lost my mother that I would take it so, good, because I mean the initial shock of losing her, of course I was like, that's it, I want to end my life. And it was like I lost it for a millisecond, you know what I'm saying? But when I came to, it's like I can't do anything about this. This death is evident. It's coming for all of us, okay? It ain't coming from me no time soon because I know how to manifest, and I know how to, it's power in the tongue. I plan on being around between 99 and 105, and I speak it into existence. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Even though they're forming, they will not prosper. But what happens is that when you lose a loved one, it can either pull the family together, look in a family apart, and you just, even though this is not real life, and a lot of movies that are created are based on true stories, bits and pieces, whether it's fact or fiction. bits and pieces of it came from another person's mind. So they had to experience or know someone who experienced that to even come up with that story altogether. But if you think of the movie Soul Food, and when they lost the mother, the mother, the grandmother, when they lost the mother, how their family fell apart, how they were when they lost her, how everybody started tripping on each other and it kind of broke the family up and stuff like that, is because people usually, I don't know, I don't it's programming. It's mental programming. And this is why I speak to give people insight on the vantage point that I stand, to get you to look at things a different way. It's like it's mental programming. It's like you have to choose, because we have free will. You have to choose to not be that type of person. You have to choose to not be that type of person. You don't have to be the type of person that say, well, we lose a family, we're going to be bitter. You don't realize that you're bitter because you lost someone. You can't change what was. You know what I'm saying? It's part of life. And I had to learn that when I lost my father, that death is transformation. It's a part of life. You know what I'm saying? That we're not going to be here forever. And if you can't learn as an adult to get over the loss of a loved one, how are you going? It's like there's no way that you can survive in anything in life, because even when I was 28 years old, if you don't deal with death in the right way, you're going to use other things as coping mechanisms. You're going to because I started smoking, and like I said, I don't feel like me smoking cigarettes was because my father passed away, but all of that happened after he passed away. Now, in my mind, I was thinking I was doing it because I was around other people and they were doing it, and I didn't want to be the odd girl out. But if I was healthy as far as when I lost my father, I probably wouldn't have chose that path. And we choose directions because of hurt and pain, because we don't want to face that we're hurt and we're in pain. And that's why we have to heal. And a lot of people don't want to heal because they don't realize that they are unhealed. They don't realize that because you're hurting and you don't want to admit it. It's like you don't want to admit that when you lost a person, you don't want to admit that it hurts you. You think you're over it. You think you heal from it. You know what I'm saying? You think it isn't bothering you, but people are hurting and the reason why the hurt lasts so long is because if you lost a person, this is my personal opinion, and like I said, I'm not trying to project this on anyone. I'm just saying, if you lost a person, you only upset because you didn't do right by that person. And so you don't want to face reality because you're mad at yourself. You know what I'm saying? But you have to heal for it. And it's like you have to heal from it and you have to forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because what I learned is that you were being yourself. We're being ourselves, whether we in the highest version of ourselves or the lowest version of ourselves. At the end of the day, we're being ourselves, and we have to forgive ourselves for we know not what we were doing. But when you make a mistake like that and you choose to sit in pain and try to act like you're not hurting when you know that you are, all you doing is hurting another person, and then you're going to end up losing another person, and you're just going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into more hurt. You have to heal, and people don't want to heal. In order for you to treat people and appreciate and value people, you have to heal. You can't keep getting hurt by different things in life and then keep going on like it's nothing, because that's the mentality of acting like it didn't happen and I'm okay, and you know you're not okay. If you're not okay, then say you're not okay. This is why I'm very vocal about my feelings. I say how I feel because I refuse to harbor any hurt and pain inside of me, because it's going to fester. And when you hold in pain and hurt from whatever you go through in life, if you hold it in, it causes diseases, diseases. It festers into a disease, and it starts to grow. And this is why people die early. This is why people die at a young age, because they holding in hurt and pain, and they don't realize when you hold in hurt and pain, it turns into a disease. You're gonna create a disease inside if you don't heal from trauma. You know what I'm saying? You, in order to heal from trauma, you have to admit that you were traumatized. Listen, I done been through so much on this spiritual journey that I've been traumatized by all this. And I'm laughing about it because when I go through it, and you all can you and it's evident because I speak on it. When I go through things like at my job, I spoke on it right then and there because that's how I felt. Because I'm not gonna hold in how I feel, especially when I'm not doing anything. So if I speak on my feelings right then and there and I get it out, I'm not holding it in. I'm not suppressing pain. I'm not suppressing anger. I'm not suppressing it, pushing it down, and then here comes something else. You know what I'm saying? Like that happened, what, April the 7th, that I quit the job, but officially it was my time, my date that I quit was April the 8th, because I had resigned. So I had to use the date that, because I went in to work on the 7th, so it didn't count as me quitting that day. That's why it was on the 8th. But even after that, then I experienced something from the second job. You know what I'm saying? Like trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. If I didn't release and speak on how I felt the day when I was going through whatever I was going through at the primary job, and then that happened, all that was going to do was put trauma on top of trauma. And I learned that I need to express myself. I need to let it out. You don't need to hold it in. And I'm not saying to go off on people. It's a healthy way to deal with trauma. It's a healthy way. And speaking it and saying how you feel is releasing it, because it's energy. You know what I'm saying? When you communicate, and you know what? It may not solve the problem, because I still end up not having a job. I still keep getting things happening to me, but what I refuse to do is hold it in, because one thing I have learned is that holding in pain causes diseases. It's boiling inside, and it's going to turn into something. You don't know what it's going to turn into, because what you can't see on the inside is what is going to hurt you the most, because you don't realize that holding in pain is going to cause some kind of internal disease. And that's what we don't want. You know what I'm saying? Because this is where heart attacks and strokes come from. And then you got to look at your history and your family. And if these type of things run in your family, then you susceptible for it to have happening to you even more so. You can't hold in hurt and trauma. You got to let that stuff go. You got to heal. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, when we lose people in our family, it's to teach you to grow from it, because it's transformation. That person that passed away already knew that they was gonna leave up out of here. We all know it. You know what I'm saying? We just don't know when. But when it happens like that, it's like you can't. You have to look at it like when my mother passed away. Like I said, it was an initial shock. But I did right by my mother. So, I was able to heal from it, because I refused, and it took a minute. And I'm not gonna lie and say that it didn't hurt, because I felt like someone snatched my soul. Like my mother, I was attached to her. So it's like the umbilical cord got cut when she passed away, and I felt like it was a gaping hole in my soul, like I couldn't breathe. That's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? I went shopping. I was doing shop therapy. I was doing all of these things, and I was trying to get over it. And I literally had to tell myself, you know what I'm saying, the way my mother used to talk about passing away and how she wasn't scared. I had to hold on to that, because she was saying all that stuff for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like they intentionally like letting you know that they're going to pass away, because we all are. You know what I'm saying? But what they're doing when people talk about death like that, and I'm not trying to scare nobody like I'm talking about death like I'm about to die, because I know I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm here to help people heal, and I raise your vibration and help you see things from a higher perspective. That's all I'm doing. I'm not speaking death into existence. What I'm saying is that When we lose people, it's to teach us to grow, because it's transformation. That person transformed from that vessel. Their spirit and soul left the body. They transformed. The soul never dies. You know what I'm saying? And when they transform, we have to transform. Because the show must go on. We have to keep going. But all you're doing when we lose people and we don't heal from it, and we just keep walking on around in life, and we don't want to admit that we're hurting, you know what I'm saying? It's going to cause it causes internal illnesses that is creating inside of your body. And you're going to find out later, in years down the line, it's because you didn't heal. And so because you didn't heal your heart and your mind, is going to grow diseases on the inside. And like I said, I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to speak nothing into existence. I'm trying to help you see the truth, which is the light, so that you can heal. You have to heal every time you get hurt. It doesn't matter what type of hurt it is. If it's a relationship and it didn't work out, you got to heal from it. You know what I'm saying? If a person, if you get into it at a job like me, jobs keep doing stuff to me over and over again, trying to cause trauma. All I'm doing is healing from it. I'm not gonna sit in that space. I'm gonna feel what I feel. I'm gonna speak on my feelings, because me speaking on my feelings is me releasing it. But I'm gonna speak on it, I'm gonna release it, and I'm gonna get over it, and I'm gonna rise above it, and I'm gonna keep moving. I'm not suppressing anything, because when you suppress and you get angry, see, a lot of times people don't like what I say because of the type of voice I have, but I'm just telling the truth. And the truth hurts sometimes, but you know what the truth does? It sets you free. You need to be free by the truth. So, like I said, when it comes to when we lose people, and I'm not being insensitive, because I done lost people, and recently I lost my mother. But me losing my mother, it helped me transform, because death is transformation. I transformed from my bad habits that I had. You know what I'm saying? When I lost my mother, something good has to come out of it. It doesn't always have to be bad, but that's a choice we make. And again, we all have free will. Why would we choose less than? We should rise above and choose better for ourselves, and take the loss of of a loved one and transform that and become better. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean, well, this person passed away, let me give up on my life. You still got a life to live. You know what I'm saying? And that person, when they lost someone, they kept living. You got to keep living. And the only way you're going to live healthy is if you heal. But that's just my take on it. And I hope that message serves you well. And I holla though. One love. Peace.